Welcome to Virtual Japan as we are here today for round number 6.
Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Bolts. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona and away. Go for the first time, Nicholas Porcel, Sean.
It looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Doms, possibly a little bit of contact.
Now as we've got 3 wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
See just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the Spark Truck Series here at the Spark Racing League. We are out on track for Dover International Speedway. It is round 6 of the first season. As always, I'm your host, James East, with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. The action 1080p, 60 frames a second. Each and every Wednesday night, we've got a busy track. We've got 23 drivers making their way out here tonight. And looking forward to a great race. 125 laps on the board. And guaranteed to be a good one. Let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on. Drivers will be tuning in as well, appreciating the support, I should say, and definitely noticing the fans that come out each and every week and making sure they're getting some love from the spectator area. Looks like qualifying has wrapped up. Are ready to send them out on track here at Dover International. Let's run through the grid. On pole, Chris Smith. Sam Cosner starting second. Chase Berry starts third. Johnny Rapp starting fourth. Evan Pienta starting fifth. Chad Waller starting sixth. Dustin Bali starting seventh. Robert Brope starts eighth. Abram Ghostin starting ninth. Jeremy Rigney starting 10th. Patrick Hargrove starting 11th. Nick Seraph starting 12th. Cycled on back, Ashton Cosner starting 13th. Clifton Simmons starting 14th. Peter Stewart starts 15th. Brian Brope starting 16th. Tony Caputo starting 17th. Dave Grajewski starts 18th. Robert Amaral starting 19th. Hunter Cole starts 20th. Ray B starting 21st. Jacob Bradley starts 22nd. And Nathan Gentry will round out the 23 truck field here today. Waiting for a few more drivers to get onto the grid before we send them out for 125 laps. Over a pretty tough track to really get dialed in. Gonna be interested to see if we see any green flag stops here tonight, or if there's gonna be a few cautions on the board to kind of upset the flow a little bit for these drivers. Great shot of the number 28 machine, Chris Smith, starting on pole in that Apex Energy backed Ford F-150. The left, that's Sam Cosner in the 00, also on a Ford. Going in on the front row together. And we're going to roll them out behind our iRacing safety car. Looks like Ghost in the number 20 machine either going to start from pit road or is going to miss the start here. As we all wait to see that iRacing safety car, there it goes down pit road. We're going to be starting on green here. It's going to be on Smith and that number 28 machine to set the stage. He'll be on the inside, and that's Cosner starting to the right. And looks like the green flag is out, and we are underway here at Dover International, round 6 of the Spark Truck Series. And staying glued to the inside line. Looks like Chase Berry, the 46, was taking a peek to the inside line. Hops up behind Smith there on the high side. Already interested to see the different line choices from these drivers. But a big run there from Cosner in the 00. Trying to keep Chris Smith at bay. Now we got an update. Ghostin was able to jump to the pit road, so is going to try and get out on track here tonight. As you're watching Smith, Berry, Cosner, 1, 2, 3. Now we got somebody else, Jacob Bradley. Started from the back on purpose, and that number 50 machine has already gained 5 spots here tonight. Drivers clicking off some fairly quick laps as we watch Bradley get his 6th spot. This will be against Tony Caputo. Now if we go to the top 5 mark, there's Johnny Rapp, the number 52. He's down 1 spot as he's got Chad Waller in the 166 breathing down his neck. You've also got Jeremy Rigney and Robert Probst in this pack. Well, it looks like we're starting to build up a little bit of steam here. Now I know we're having a bit of blinking issues in the broadcast. I'm going to try and get that figured out while we're dropping connection up here in the booth. As it's still Berry, Cosner, Smith, 1, 2, 3, Pienta, Rapp, Waller having a pretty heated battle for 5th here. Trying waiting for the stream to catch up a little bit. Up front, Berry, that 46 machine, has gained 2 spots, taking over the race lead here tonight. Looks like he's got a little bit of steam built up there as he charges forward in that Toyota Tundra. Cosner still in 2nd, Chris Smith sitting in 3rd. Looks like Berry and Cosner are going to break away from Smith here a little bit. If we go back to Johnny Rapp sitting in 4th, he's got a freight train of drivers behind him. That is 4th. And really most of the field right behind Rapp in that 52 machine. Now if we can get our green flag run going here, tire wear definitely going to be an issue. There's a little bit of a blink there. I think that was from Smith in the 28 machine. Something has happened to Patrick Hargrove. He's going to come down pit road here, pull over, and I believe take a tow. So Hargrove has some sort of issue in the 74. Might be retiring early. We didn't see an incident there for Hargrove. But this is the battle for the lead on camera. It's Cosner versus Berry. Cosner takes over the race lead from that 46. Both drivers up 1 spot from where they qualified, and have put about 3/4 of a second on Smith, still holding on to 3rd, but Smith now down 2 spots. Joe's still out on track. Hargrove still showing on pit road. Not quite sure what happened there. If we pan back to Pienta, now he's got the freight train behind. There's Chad Waller right in tow. The number 66, Jeremy Rigney, Robert Probst, Nick Seraph, all here nose to tail. Drivers are already about 3/10 to 4/10 slower than their fastest laps of the race. So it looks like Waller trying to set up for something here into turn 1. Pulls up alongside Pienta. That is going to be the battle for 5th. Ford versus Chevrolet right behind them. Jeremy Rigney has a great view of that battle in front. Robert Probst trying to get a piece of the action as well. Like Waller is going to take over the top 5 spot. Pienta pushes a little bit wide there, but Waller has some sort of connection issue. And Pienta gets caught up in that one. I'm trying to see, I think that was Pienta. I'm trying to see who else it is. Hunter Cole, Robert Amaral, Tony Caputo, all tied up in that one. Let's get the replay queued up there. What happened to Pienta at 55? That's a terrible camera angle. Back that one up a little bit more, I think. So Pienta just has his quarter panel grabbed there, and the rest of the field comes barreling in. Poor Pienta sliding around, everybody else taking evasive maneuvers, trying to get those machines slowed down in time. Grab one more replay. Let's see if we can slow that down a little bit. First caution of the night. There's Pienta, the number 55 machine. If that was netcode or just good old-fashioned contact. There was Jeremy Rigney also involved in that one. He was in the bright red truck. Poor Pienta. Was that, I think, Dustin Bally tied up in that one? Pienta might be facing a little bit of motion sickness after that incident, as we have the safety car deployed for the first time here tonight. That's going to show Cosner still up front, Chase Berry in second, Chris Smith running third, with Johnny Rapp and Jeremy Rigney rounding out the top 5. Now drivers do have 2 sets of tires behind the wall. Drivers that came in during that, Nick Seraph, Dustin Bally, Peter Stewart, were all fairly confident were involved in the contact there. Most of the field opts to stay out. Peter Stewart must have had some pretty substantial damage. He's been in his pit stall for 50 seconds and counting. It looks like Evan Pienta has unfortunately retired from this one. I don't see him in his pit stall or out on track. Again, this is our first caution of the night. Chase Berry, a little bit of a blink there. Got him gridded up behind the iRacing safety car. And let's see, is the safety car going to come down pit road this time by? It looks like they're going to get the field ready. No, it looks like we may have one more lap here. No, it should be in this time in there as they make their way down the backstretch. Here we go, safety car down pit road. Cosner will set the field here in the 0-0. Chase Berry's going to be right there with him. Smith and Rapp your second row. Probst and Probst will be your third row. That's Brian Probst and Robert Probst. As we are green flag racing once more. Cosner with a massive launch there. Something has happened. Brian Probst is having some sort of blinking issue in the number 11 machine. Robert Probst, though, having a good run. The number 5 machine trying to get something working here. It's going to be tough to do if Robert Probst keeps having those issues, though. Brian Probst going to the outside, up against the wall. I wonder if he knew he had a little bit of a blink going on there. Just behind them, Jacob Bradley, number 50 machine, who started at the back, has worked his way up 16 positions. That number 50 machine absolutely ripping here at Dover. I'm going to be curious to see, can Bradley somehow make it happen and pull all the way up towards the front? That would be quite a story here tonight if he's able to make that happen. Right now, Jacob Bradley going to try and focus against Brian Probst as number 11. Behind Bradley, that is Robert Probst, Clifton Simmons. Something has happened to Ashton Cosner, though. The 34 might have tagged the wall. He's showing a little bit off pace, falling towards the back. Great racing all across the track. Now we are expecting the fuel window. Check my notes here up in the booth. Should be about 46 to 48 laps of green flag racing for these drivers. Now with that caution on the lap 14-15 mark, that'll extend the run a little bit as drivers are able to fuel save under caution. Up front, Cosner still your race leader. Chase Berry second. Chris Smith rounding out that final podium spot. Probst family battling side by side. That's Brian Probst, the 11, Robert Probst in the 5. Side by side for 6. Right behind them, Clifton Simmons, Ray Bean, also side by side. Robert Probst, number 5 machine, has opted to tuck in behind the 11 of Brian Probst. Brian Probst having a fantastic run as well. Up 10 spots. Really, there's 3 drivers out on track that have had big runs here tonight. Robert Probst is, Brian Probst up 10 spots. Ray Beebe is up 13, and then Jacob Bradley has made it 17 spots gained so far here this evening. Another battle out on track. Tony Caputo, Dustin Bali. Bali did not feel very good coming into qualifying and practice. I believe he only had 5 or 6 laps of practice for today's main event. So I think he's going to be kind of taking it easy here, trying to get some momentum built up, and maybe just trying to focus on tire saving. You come into a main event, maybe not as much seat time as the other drivers. Sometimes you can just kind of follow along and keep your equipment safe. Still have a good shot of gaining some ground later on in the race. Cosner clicking off laps, not having any issues there. Going a little bit shy of 8/10 off his fastest lap of the race. And once again, the Probst family side by side. Robert getting around Brian, or trying to, as he works the inside line. No, Brian gets clear. It's going to be, Robert gets clear. It's going to be Ray Beebe, the number 89 machine, working the inside of Brian's number 11. That's going to give Robert a little bit of a break as well as he holds on and grabs that 6th place position. Oh, looked like Robert had a little bit of a tail swap there, trying to correct it to avoid tagging the outside wall. Gotta wonder if some of these drivers are using up a little bit too much tire too early on. Nick Seraph, Chad Waller, Hunter Cole, Ashton Cosner, Abram Ghostin. find himself in a pretty busy racetrack. We're about 14th place back. Sheriff trying to grab that 14th place spot from Waller. And Ghostin, who started from pit road, trying to get some more forward momentum as well. Started off, I believe, almost a lap down, so that caution worked to the favor of the number 20 machine. He's fought his way back up to 16th. So I think Abrams going to be looking for every caution he can find out on track, assuming he's not involved in it, and continue that run towards the front. There's Ghostin starting to catch up to Seraph in the 67. Seraph, a hard hit to the outside wall at a turn 4. I think Ghostin's going to go for it here. That number 22 machine knows that Seraph right ahead of him has been having a few problems. And Ghostin's going to get the pass completed going into turn 3. Nice and clean against Seraph. Johnny Rapp, Mr. Consistency, working his way up to Chris Smith to see if he can work his way onto a podium in that number 52 machine. Also looks like Chase Berry starting to track down Cosner, the race leader. Gaining a 10th here, a 10th there. Maybe Robert Probst, a little bit of side-by-side shenanigans. Probst going to be up against the wall. The number 5 machine trying to guard the line, but keep an eye out. Ray Beebe has been making big moves so far here tonight. If Beebe can lock up this 6th place spot, that will be his 15th position gain. And about 1.7 seconds ahead, that's hard charger Jacob Bradley up 17 spots here tonight. So we're seeing some big movers as we get a little bit of green flag action here. Now checking back in, things are really starting to tighten up. The top 3, top 4. You've got Cosner about 2/10 ahead of Berry, who sits in 2nd, but right behind them, that's Chris Smith, Johnny Rapp, running nose to tail 3rd and 4th. This may very well end up in a 4-truck battle for the lead. You're on board with Smith in that 28. And you can see Cosner and Berry just clicking off laps, nose to tail, maybe not wanting to fight too much, knowing that Smith and Rapp are closing up behind them here. Rapp giving it everything he can. Now Hunter Cole looks like he's taking a tow back to pit road. I wonder if he had some sort of connection issue. The late model race on Monday, I know Cole had some pretty severe blinking issues. Hopefully that's not going to be what's plaguing him here tonight. Now Berry and Cosner not really gaining or losing any time here to Smith and Rapp, still holding about a half second ahead of that 2nd pack. Now if this stays green for a little while longer, I'd imagine we are going to have a pit cycle open up around the lap 50 mark, I would think, as you're on board with Chase Berry running 2nd in the number 46 Toyota Tundra. The drivers seem to be content just following along at this point. Now who's not following along? Dave Grajewski, the number 6, makes a pass against Brian Brooks, the number 11. I'm fearful that Brian Brooks might have burned up a little bit too much tire early on here. And Brian Brooks looks to have just cleaned out Dade. Somehow Dade holds on to it here. I'm not sure what that was about. Let's get that replay queued up. I mean, I'm not sure if Brobst just missed the mark there or what. Cade was running well, held a line, I think. Brian Brobst comes up into him. Luckily hits the front left quarter panel and straightens out. What a fantastic save from that number 6 machine. Still the top 4 separated by, I believe, yes, less than 7/10 between the top 4 drivers. Osner getting a little bit of a breakaway, has gained 4/10. The remaining top 4 drivers right there in tow. Now keep an eye out, we've been talking about Jacob Bradley, the number 50 machine. He is within 6/10 of that lead pack. He has already made it 17 spots gained. Does Bradley still have some tire wear left to use? We've got Ray Aguilar joining us in the spectate area. Aguilar, a huge fan of the broadcast channel, a very fast racer in his own right. Now it looks like Bradley's going to come down pit road for a green flag stop. Looked like that was Rapp as well, hard on the brakes, and I just saw somebody else come screaming in. That was Robert Brobst extremely hard on the binder, so I'm wondering if that was a case of drivers seeing somebody else coming down pit road and opting saying, you know what, I think that's a great idea, I'm going to follow you in. As we've got Rapp, Brobst, Bradley all on pit road. Chris Smith, Dustin Bally running 5th and 6th. They're going to come down pit road. Cosner, Barry Beebe now round out the top 3 with Waller and Brian Brobst making up the top 5. It's going to be a very busy pit road here at Dover. Oh, somebody has bended on pit road, though. I think that was Jeremy Rigney. Takes a tow immediately afterwards, so I think Rigney might have just been bit by the pit entry safety barrier. Let's watch that one, the number 10 machine. That's rough. Chase Berry down pit road. Cosner opts to stay out, as well as Ray B. Dustin Bally, the bright yellow number 24 we saw rolling out on track. So right now your top 2 drivers have yet to pit, Cosner and Beebe. There goes Cosner, he's going to come down pit road. Will Ray Beebe follow? No, he's going to stay out and get credit for a lap led here tonight. I think that may be Bally right behind the race leader. Yes, it is, trying to get a lap back from the number 89 machine. So pit strategies all across the board here. Looks like the only 3 drivers yet to have come in yet is Ray Beebe, who now comes down pit road. Brian Brobst and Clifton Simmons. Chad Waller will take back over the race lead, the number 66 machine. He came down pit road under caution early on here tonight on lap 15, as well as Abram Groston and Dave Grajewski. Got a few different strategies at play here. I have reason to believe that Waller did not take 4 tires during that lap 15 pit stop, in and out of a stall in 7.15 seconds. Not sure if that's indicative of a 2-tire stop or maybe just fuel. Right now, your top 3 drivers on that alternative strategy. They came down pit road on lap 15 under caution. We believe all 3 of those drivers took fuel and most likely did not take tires. Ryan Brooks down pit road for his first stop of the night. So based on the fuel numbers we saw, this could be a really good strategy for the top three. I'm thinking right now the play for these drivers is going to be effectively double stinting the tires. And then they should be able to take most sets in the remaining pit stops of the evening. I think it's going to be the strategy for these top three. Now that does put drivers out on track with very different tire sets and can lead to some white knuckle moments, as we just saw. That was Johnny Rapp blowing by the race leader, number 66, who we're confident still on his original set of tires. Ghostin still running second, Dave Grajewski third, and that puts these top three drivers in a good spot as well. They're the only drivers on the lead lap at this point. So if there is a caution that flies, that is going to put a whole lot of fast trucks down a lap here at Dover. And it seems like Waller just kind of taking it easy, letting the faster trucks by when they catch up. And still pulling time over Ghostin and Grajewski, running second and third. Interesting to see the different strategies at play here. Now we think Waller will need to come down pit road in about the next 5 to 10 laps. Waller clicking off laps. You can tell the tire wear definitely a factor. His fastest lap of the race, a 23.79. Last time by a 25.5. So definitely way off his normal race pace here, but still keeping a majority of the field at bay. And when he does come down pit road, he will by far and away have some of the freshest tires underneath him to take him through the next run. I think right now Waller either is hoping we go caution free or is hoping for a caution, as just about everybody outside the top four is down a lap. Now Jacob Bradley was able to unlap himself the number 50 machine. Once Waller, Ghostin, and Grajewski come down pit road, I think that's going to put Bradley as the race leader. But I'm very intrigued to see how the strategy is going to play out for these guys tonight. And it looks like Waller handling the tire wear fairly well. Staying right around that 25.5, 25.6 second lap time. Not going anywhere too blazingly quick, but very, very consistent as the lap times will plateau and then fall off. Waller has pulled up to a 10.4 second gap over Ghostin and Grajewski, who are falling off behind. We still have 20 drivers out on track of the 23 that entered. Unfortunately, Jeremy Rigney, Evan Pienta, Patrick Hartgrove, all back behind the wall and in the virtual hauler, having to retire early from this main event. But drivers have been displayed the cross, green and white. We are past the halfway mark here tonight, as currently it's Waller, Ghostin, and Grajewski, your top three. Bradley and Smith right on the top five, but we've got two, if not more, very distinct fuel strategy at play here. Your top three drivers all came down pit road around the lap 15 mark. From fourth place back is where we saw the drivers getting their pit stalls around the lap 44 to 48 mark. But Surely Waller's got to be getting towards the end of this fuel run. But Waller seems like he has no sign of coming in here, just clicking off laps. Again, he's not losing time to the drivers in second and third, but I'm curious about Jacob Bradley in fourth. He's about 20.1 seconds back from your race leader. And keep an eye on that and see if Bradley's closing the distance. I mean, already we can see almost 4/10 being gained by Bradley there. There's also a lot of traffic in play for these drivers. With these guys being on different tire strategies, it can be very, very tough to know what the guy in front of you has underneath them as far as tires go. And know when's going to be a safe opportunity to try and complete a pass. Waller continues to stretch the run to 66. Bradley, though, sitting in fourth, is definitely closing the gap, has gotten it down to 19 seconds flat, and that's after Bradley had to unlap himself here. If we go back to Bradley in third, just in frame, there is Chris Smith and Sam Cosner linked up in the battle for fifth. Jake Grajewski is going to signal he's coming down pit road to number 6 for his first green flag stop. Waller and Ghostin stay out. No, Waller's going to come down pit road. About Ghostin. Ghostin stays out. Going to get, I believe, credit for his first ever lap led here at the Spark Truck Series. But Jacob Bradley closing quickly. That number 50 machine started at the back. He is now up 20 positions. And there we go. Abram Ghostin down pit road. I just saw Jacob Bradley. There you go. Cycling by the number 50 machine. Will get his first lap led here at Dover after starting at the very tail end of the field. That is 21 positions gained for Bradley. Now Waller, after that lap 68 pit stop, is going to join one lap down in the 12th place spot. As it is Bradley, Smith, Cosner, 1, 2, 3. A little over 50 laps left to go here at Dover. Now the tide will turn a little bit for Waller. He's going to be really hoping we stay green at this point, so he doesn't get caught a lap down. Because it's Clifton Simmons, the number 38 Toyota Tundra. He's in 9th right now in the lucky dog position. If we do get a caution, it'll be Simmons that gets the wave around. I think drivers know as well they're going to have to make one more stop to make it on fuel here. As Bradley looks very, very comfortable in that Chevrolet. Smith and Cosner both down one spot from where they started. I wonder if they knew Bradley was going to be so dominant here this evening. Peter Stewart rolls back out on track after 6 minutes and 20 seconds in his pit stall. Had some substantial damage after that early incident. I thought I saw Chase Berry taking a peek at Cosner. You know, that was a little bit of lap traffic these guys are having to navigate. But if we go back to 13th, there's a battle, a 3-truck battle for 13th. It's Sarah, Frapp, and Ghostin. Ghostin has the freshest tires in that number 20. Jake Rajewski back down pit road. I'm wondering if he thinks he can make it on fuel if he comes down now. Poston working the inside line against Seraph. And I think probably make quick work of Rapp with almost 30 lap newer tires underneath that 20 machine. There we go, the inside. Yeah, does it very, very quick here. Good to see drivers getting a little bit of a green flag run here. Oh, almost interrupted there. What just happened there? I can't tell who that was. Is that Hunter Cole, I think? I think it was. So Cole gets a good hearty shove from Ghostin. Yeah, just barely. Just two drivers trying to go to the same spot. Oh no, unfortunately Rapp is going to get heavy damage from that on the front end. Yeah, there we go. Rapp with a beaten and battered number 52 machine down pit road. He's going to have to get some repairs done. Chad Waller slides around Brian Brose, moving up into 7th. Now it also looks like the top four getting a little bit separated here. Bradley and Smith about a half second apart, but they have put 1.4 seconds up over Sam Cosner. I wonder if that is the traffic management we're seeing here, as Cosner still has Chase Berry following him. Now Johnny Rapp has made his way into his pit stall. We'll keep you updated on how long he's there for, but unfortunately with the bodywork missing off the front end number 52 machine, I think that's going to be pretty heavy repairs he has to get completed. Berry all over the back of Cosner in the battle for that final podium spot. Everybody inside the top 6 on relatively the same tire strategy. It's Chad Waller back in 7th. He came down pit road about 20 some odd laps later than everybody else, so he's going to have some fresh tires to put to use here. Fresher tires, I should say, at this point. Now we think most of the top 5 is going to need to come down pit road around lap 90, 95, as there's a huge blink for Chase Berry in the 46. Cosner looking in the rear view mirror, knows that Berry's going to try and size him up, but almost wonder as well if Berry knows he has connection issues, if he's going to hold off on trying to make a big gutsy pass. I think I might be standing corrected here as Berry all over the back of the 004 Ford F-150. I think Berry's trying to set the pace here and keep Cosner honest. Berry's going to take a peek to the inside line. Is he going to be able to slide up ahead of Cosner, though? It looks like he will. But Berry has taken back over his originally qualifying position, moving that 46 up into 3rd. And Jacob Bradley down pit road for what should be the final time. Chris Smith qualified on pole, back out on front here. Sam Cosner, the 00, also down pit road. Where is this going to put Chad Waller? Waller will slide up into 5th. He's right behind Ray Beebe. Another driver on 20 lap older tires than Waller is Chris Smith, who's running 2nd. He comes down pit road for what should be his final stop. Now mid pit stop, it's Barry, Bali, and Waller. Your top three, Ray Beebe, and I think it's going to be Brian Brobes who will round out the top five as Chris Smith is in his pit stall. Dustin Bali's coming down pit road a little bit sideways. Not the best pit entry for Bali, so he's going to lose a few seconds with that one. Chase Berry still clicking off laps. Now I think Berry's in the position where he wants to keep as many drivers a lap down from him as he can. And by taking a later stop in this race, Berry's setting himself up so he might have some of the freshest tires in the remaining 46 laps here at Dover. It's tough for these drivers as well, trying to navigate traffic. Berry catching up to slower drivers and getting ready to be overtaken by those with a little bit fresher rubber underneath them. I think that's Abram Ghostin at that pit stop on lap 69, trying to get a lap back here. How long is Barry going to stay out for? We watched Ghostin just get his lap back. It looks like Barry trying to pick the draft up off at the back of the number 20 machine. Brian Brobes looks like he's signaling he's going to come down pit road in the 11. It looks like Brobes was just kind of hopping out of the way there of some of the lead pack drivers. As Chase Berry keeps rocking along here. That is Brian Brobes, the number 11, right behind him, who's going to look like he's going to try and get a lap back. Both Berry and Brian Brobes are on very similar pit strategies here. This is the big question. How long is Chase Berry going to stay out for? Berry's last pit stop, 47, lap 47. Chad Waller in second, came down pit road on lap 68. Ray Beebe in third, came down pit road on lap 49. A couple different strategies in this top three. I'm not sure who it's going to pay off for, though. Most of the field fairly spread out at this point. There we go. Chase Berry down pit road, but leaves a long skid mark there. Did Berry speed on pit road? We'll keep an eye out in the live timing to see if he gets held in his pit stall. Hopefully he didn't undo all the hard work out of him in that 46 machine. That's going to put Chad Waller back in the race lead, who was on that alternative strategy. Ray Beebe sitting in second. And I think Abram Ghostin, yes, is going to move up to third here. Let's see how long Chase Berry's in his pit stall for. If it's more than 15 seconds, we're going to be fairly confident he got a penalty on that one. No, Berry in and out of a stall, 14.7 seconds, so looking good here. Robert Amaril's down pit road. That looked like he had a moment, maybe. Not sure what happened there. We had another incident. Nick Seraph had an off-track excursion in the 67. Unfortunately, didn't make it too terribly far out of pit road. Thankfully, kept it off the wall. Definitely been a night of solo incidents here at Dover. There's Chad Waller, the number 66. Putting Brian Brobes the lap down there. Trying to think, there's Jacob Bradley, number 50 machine. He's trying to unlap himself from Waller. Waller made him take the long way around there. So Bradley's going to get back on the lead lap after his lap 85 pit stop. Got 4 drivers in the lead lap, and we've completed 2 green flag pit stops. Good to see drivers have been cleaning things up a little bit. I didn't expect Dover to be the track that it would happen at, though. And Waller has a whole lot of traffic to navigate here. Now Bradley in 4th, running about a second a lap faster than the race leader Waller, able to put those newer tires to use. We think Waller will need to come in pit road around that lap 115 mark. Ray Beeb's going to come down pit road for his final stop in the 89. That is one of the tough parts here of green flag pit cycles at Dover. You almost put yourself darn near 2 laps down on the pit cycle. The last thing any of these drivers want is to find themselves caught a lap down if a caution comes out. Now Waller running about 20 seconds ahead of Ghostin at this point. And Ghostin's going to come down pit road for his final stop with 24 to go. That's going to put Bradley up into 2nd, Sam Cosner back into 3rd. Waller holding about a 21-second advantage over Bradley. And Waller, whenever he comes down pit road, he is going to have to put down some extremely fast lap times if he wants to catch up to Bradley. We're fairly confident Bradley can stay out till the end here. Waller going high to allow drivers on fresh rubber to make their way around him. I think that was the pin machine of Jeremy Rigney. Oh, it wasn't Rigney. Rigney has retired. Maybe that was Bali? I'm out of guesses here. I see a Robert Brobst just ahead in that number 5 machine. Robert Brobst was last down pit road on lap 76. Looks like still 20 drivers of the 23 that entered out on track. And there's the battle for 3rd. Chris Smith going to take an inside lunge against Cosner. Both on the same tire strategy. 20 laps left to go. We think everybody inside the top 5 except for your race leader Chad Waller is going to be good to go on fuel here to make it till the end. I can only imagine Waller is going to stay out as long as he possibly can and maybe hope there's a late race caution. I don't think I could foresee Waller coming down pit road, taking fuel and tires, and still being able to track down Jacob Bradley. Again, to his credit, started at the very back of the field and has gained 20 positions over the course of tonight. And I think that number 50 machine has a very good chance of bringing home a win here. We knew Bradley was going to be good here at Dover. We didn't know how good he was going to be. As we check back in on Waller now, it looks like Bradley has whittled it down to 17 seconds behind the race leader. I mean, that's easy math. Bradley needs to be gaining about a second a lap to catch up to Waller, but that would be if Waller doesn't have to come down pit road. So I don't think Bradley needs to let too much as far as hammering down the throttle. If he can just stay consistent, knowing Waller's going to have to come down pit road without a caution, Bradley has put himself in a very good spot here. Now the field fairly separated at this point, only 5 drivers on the lead lap. There's Nathan Gentry down pit road for his final stop, the number 4. Gentry's still having a great night. He's up 10 spots from where he qualified. Notable hard chargers, of course, Jacob Bradley up 20 spots. Ray B back in 5th, the 89. He's up 15 positions. And, of course, Nathan Gentry up to 10 spots we just mentioned. So a few drivers having fantastic runs out here tonight. And still good racing. It looks like Brian Brobe's going to make his way around Clifton Simmons for 10th. Brobe just came out of his pit stall on lap 100, so has some of the freshest tires out on track here. But don't think enough time to really put him to use. 14 laps left to go. We're getting ready to tick it over to Lucky 13 as Waller makes his way out of turn 4. Waller just ripping around here at Dover. I think Waller right now really wants this thing to go green till the end. Looks like Sam Cosner has company as Chase Berry battles back for the 4th place spot. Berry is going to get through clean. He's got about 9 lap fresher tires than Cosner. And I think right now we're seeing a lot of tire wear becoming the major factor for these drivers on if they have anything left in the proverbial tank. It's 10 laps left to go here. The Spark Truck Series round 6 at Dover. Got Chad Waller, Jacob Bradley, Chris Smith running 1, 2, 3. Waller holding on to a 14-second advantage. So, excuse me, to correct myself, I think Waller is hoping for a caution, hoping for a caution, yes, but he can come down pit road and kind of restack the field here. Jacob Bradley, the number 20 machine, who's been charging forward, wants this thing to go green out till the end. He's thinking Waller definitely will have to come down pit road, but only 9 laps left to go here. How much fuel can Waller still have left? And Bradley hasn't been really hammering the throttle, running about the same pace as your race leader. Still about 14 seconds behind. There's Waller, the 66 Ford F-150. Drives by the pit entry. From what we were told about the fuel run, this shouldn't be possible. I want to go see if I can grab an onboard here. Chad Waller, let's listen to the throttle as he goes into 3 and 4. I mean, a fair amount of fuel saving, but nothing I would consider crazy aggressive. Now I'm beginning to doubt myself. Does Waller somehow have something figured out? Or he's looking at the live timing, knowing it's 6.5 laps left to go, 5.5 laps left to go. If he can somehow pull something off here. No is the answer. Waller, the commentator's curse strikes the commentator. As Waller comes down pit road late in the race, this should give the lead to Jacob Bradley. Bradley takes over the race lead as Waller's in pit road. That's going to put Chris Smith up into 2nd. Chase Berry up into 3rd. Waller's fallen all the way back to 5th here. So unfortunately, the strategy play not going to pan out for the 66. And that is going to be the 21st position gain for Jacob Bradley. started way back after not qualifying in 22nd. And looks to be in a good position here to cruise on towards victory lane. Now, if Bradley can take the white flag without any on-track incidents amongst the other drivers, we will not use the green-white checker overtime condition scenario here. 3 laps left to go here at Dover. Chad Waller, he got back out on track in 6th, but will unfortunately be a lap down here. A valiant effort from Waller, that different strategy. Unfortunately for him, he was really looking for another caution to keep him on the lead lap. But I've got to say, as a broadcaster and a racer myself, always great to see the different strategies come out to play, even when they necessarily don't work perfectly in your favor. 2 laps left to go. There's a lot of traffic up ahead for Bradley. I think he's going to take it easy here, knowing he still has a 1.5 second buffer over Smith in 2nd. Gary holding on to a strong 3rd, but they are duking it out ahead of him. White flag is out. Jacob Bradley going to watch that battle ahead of him. Doesn't want anything of it. And put your hands together. Jacob Bradley picks up the win here at Dover. And it's going to be Chris Smith in 2nd and Chase Berry rounding out the top 3. A great race amongst these guys. I've got to say, that's probably the best racing we've seen all season. We had a very limited amount of cautions. We had multiple strategies for these drivers to try out, and just good, clean, hard racing across the field. A big victory burnout for Jacob Bradley, very well earned. He paid for all the tires. He's going to use all the tires here, as we're going to start getting these drivers up here to victory lane. Man, oh man, what a great race amongst these guys. Looks like we've got everybody up here into victory lane. Well, let's get things started with Chase Berry, the number 46 machine. Chase, welcome to the top 3, my friend. A pretty clean race, all things considered. And, man, what great racing between everybody out there tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty clean for the most part. Yeah, it's Dover tends to always do a lot of green flag runs. It's crazy because it just, you would think it'd be a lot of cautions, but every time I've run to Dover, it's been pretty much green flag running everywhere I've ran. So it's pretty clean, good racing track.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I didn't ever expect. I think this would be one of the nights and one of the tracks we'd have a bunch of incidents, but everybody kept it very clean, very respectful. Now, Chase, we just watched on the replay camera. Tell me about what your pit crew is wearing. It looks like cow suits for your crew here tonight.
Oh yeah. It's something from Forza. I used to do Forza with Johnny and all them, and there was like a super cow. So I found like a cow with a cape. So it's just stuck with me. So it's pretty much always on my car at some point. I think there's a cow on my deck lid and all that. So then when I got to iRacing, I was like, oh cool, I can find a super cow, a cow. So I just have a cow suit for the super cow, and I think my helmet is a cow too. Like it's got cow. So yeah, nothing like the super cow.
Well, that's a cool segue into to simpler times. Chase, we got to see a bunch of different strategies out on track there tonight as far as when to take fuel, when to take tire. with how things shook down, are you pretty happy with how things played out on your end?
Yeah. I mean, it's always nice to run top three. I mean, I know I'm not touching Jacob. Um, I think probably, if we had another 5 or 6, 7, 8 laps, I probably could have ran down Chris. We could have had a good battle. But, Jacob's just class of the field out here. So, not really worried about touching, catching up with him. But yeah, for the most part, I'm excited to be in third. It's better than, like 12th, 13th, 14th, like how my luck usually takes me throughout the races.
Well, glad luck is going your way here at Dover. Good to have you back up here in the top three. Chase, before I let you sign off and celebrate, who do you want to give a shout out to that helped you snag a podium here tonight?
You for broadcasting, of course, without you, then, no one could see that I finished third. That's exciting. Uh, Johnny, Jacob, all the guys at Payday, they know who they are. And yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Hey, a pleasure having you back up here, Chase. Hopefully to have you up here more often throughout the season. And again,
Yeah.
congratulations on third here tonight.
All right, thank you. Maybe I'll actually get a P1 for a change. I got P2 and P3. Now I just need P1.
Got fingers crossed, a few rounds left.
Shit, me too.
That was Chase Berry bringing it home. And third, up next, we've got Chris Smith, the number 28 machine. Chris, welcome to the party. You qualified on pole, but man, it seems like Jacob Bradley just brought something else to the racetrack. We might have to tear down that truck at the end of this.
Yeah, he was really fast. He did a really nice job, coming through traffic, and he was really fast on the long run all night. And yeah, he had the staying power. We could kind of run, pretty close to the same speed. On the, I guess it was the second stint there. He started gapping me right before the pit stop, so he was really holding on to that right front really well tonight.
Now, Chris, we saw a few different drivers on a different strategy than those of you inside the top three. Were you worried that a caution was going to come out late in the race and kind of throw those plans out the window for you?
Absolutely. I just had my fingers crossed the whole time that it would work out. It's just, here it's just the tire wear is so huge that, when that leader pits or when somebody who's around you pits, it just really puts a lot of pressure on you because, you'll just lose a ton of ground. Chase Berry was catching us there at the end there, and, he stayed out for a long time there, and he almost caught us there before the end of the race. Tires just mean so much. So yeah, we were definitely super worried about it, but luckily one didn't come out, and it was pretty clean right there till the end.
Now, Chris, talking about the tire wear and the lack of caution, do you think that tire wear in the front right getting very pushy for some of the drivers is a reason why we saw so many green flag runs and the pace kind of back down a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, you really just have to baby it here. This place is just notorious for, just cheese gratering the right front tires. So, yeah, I think that's why you saw I think we only had like 5 trucks on the lead lap at the end of this thing. So, yeah, and long green flag runs. Yeah, it's a tough track. It's really, really difficult. Jacob and I were talking, like I can't get around here, to save my life in an Xfinity car, but we did pretty good in the truck tonight.
Awesome, Chris. Good to have you up here. A great run for you and the entire Payday team. Before I let you sign off and celebrate, who do you want to give a shout out to that helped you bring home the P2 here tonight?
I just want to give a shout out to Johnny, Jacob, all the admins here in Spark for letting me join and race this season. They do a nice job right here in this series, and I'm glad to be a part of it. Want to give a shout out to Randy Bechtel as well, doing race control tonight. You as well for doing a great job in the broadcast. I enjoy watching it, going back and watching it, and I think you do a great job. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to going back and watching this one. Quick shout out to Tommy and everybody over at Apex Energy for their support. And, yeah, can't wait to get back on the track next week.
Awesome, Chris. Always a pleasure talking to you, buddy. Congratulations on second, and hopefully we'll have you back up here next week as well.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was Chris Smith bringing it home in second. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend. Welcome back, Jacob Bradley. Speaking of back, started from the back, 21 positions, and now you're here.
Yeah, I qualified. We wanted to start in the back this week. We want to have a little bit of fun with it, and I screwed up on my lap in the beginning, so it kind of just worked out that way. And Man, it drove pretty good through the field. I'd been practicing the race runs in that 25-minute practice, and just kind of worked out with the pit strategy. Went green the rest of the way, and really enjoyed it.
Now, speaking of pit strategy, I think everybody else, Smith and Barry both, were worried about a late race caution. What would have happened if that happened? Did you have any tires left at that point? So were you just kind of all or nothing in those last 25?
It was kind of all or nothing those last 25. I didn't have another set in the pits, but I figured with the pace we had kept up, the only people who were really going to get us were the four so that had gone the